Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and present my screen. I don't think that the assignment has posted, so probably have to get that posted.
My assignment posted.
Oh, it did or it didn't? Yeah, it's there. It's called Eclipses. That's what we're working on. So let's go ahead and open up this Google Slides. I think it's 2 slides. So we'll do the first one kind of together, talk about solar and lunar eclipses, and then the second slide will be a little bit of like research that you'll do on your own today. Okay? So give you guys a minute to get that opened up and get ready. Okay, so the eclipses assignment, please and thank you. Looks good? All right. Looks like we're doing pretty good. I'm going to get zoomed in. Let's do 100. So we have a couple of paragraphs. You can do that really quick. We have a couple of paragraphs to read. We'll answer a couple of questions. And then on the second page is a little bit of research. I'll do the first one with you guys and then let you guys work on the last couple. But I don't think it'll take too long. Okay? So I'm going to start reading it. First part says, what is an eclipse? An eclipse is when one celestial body, so a planet, the sun, the moon, moves into the shadow of another celestial body. So the moon goes into the shadow of the sun, or sorry, the earth, or vice versa. Basically, they just move in line with each other. The term is commonly used to describe a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse. We have to remember that the sun is very far away from us and the moon. This means that as the moon orbits our planet, it sometimes gets right in between the sun and the earth, and sometimes the earth gets in between the sun and the moon. An eclipse can be a total eclipse, a partial eclipse, or an annular eclipse. We're going to learn about all 3 of those, okay? Kind of. So, lunar eclipses. A lunar eclipse is when the earth goes in between the sun and the moon. Okay? This means that the sun's light cannot reach the moon as the earth is blocking it, so it casts a shadow on the moon. So this is when we see a shadow on the moon from the earth. Okay, that's a lunar eclipse. You see the shadow on the moon for a lunar eclipse. The solar eclipse is the opposite. The solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the earth and the sun. During a solar eclipse, the light from the sun cannot reach the earth. During a total solar eclipse, the moon blocks out the sun completely. We cannot see the sun at all. During a partial solar eclipse, this is when the moon blocks out just a portion of the sun, not the whole thing, but just some of it. During an annular solar eclipse, this is what happens when the moon is at its furthest point in orbit and does not cover the sun completely, so we actually see like a ring of light around the outside of the moon, which is kind of cool. I know that some of you guys, as per your customs, would not look at one of these at all, ever. Some of you guys might eventually see one.
I saw mine in 2nd grade.
Yeah, there was one a couple of years ago. But I know that there's some Native American traditions where you don't look at them, right? So some of you guys might see it, some of you guys might not. There are devices, though, to look at it safely. You can look at a lunar eclipse.
If you use a welding helmet, that works. If you use
Yeah.
a certain type of glass made for eclipse,
Exactly. So during a lunar eclipse, you can look at the moon. That's okay. During a solar eclipse, that's when you want to make sure you have protective stuff over your eyes if you are going to look at it. Maudie, to answer your question, I have no idea how many happen in our lifetime because they happen kind of often, like every couple of years. So it depends on how long you live, I guess, basically.
It's kind of not often, but it's kind of often.
Yeah, it's not super often, but There's probably
Sounds like a word now.
often.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
It sounds like a word.
I don't know, Monty. It really depends on the orbit of the Earth and the Moon and the Sun. That's how it happens. The orbits will change.
Happens every 100 years.
No, they happen decently often. It's not like every 100 years. It's every couple of years, I'd say. And they happen at different parts of the Earth too. So
Like the next one will happen this year, December 4th. But we won't be able to see it because it's 4 days after. Yeah. And there are a lot of people from China and Idaho just to see the solar eclipse.
yeah, it's a pretty cool event. So let's answer these couple of questions. It says, why do eclipses happen? We'll answer this one together. Why do they even happen?
Questions like these is kind of like there's not really.
There's not a solid answer.
Like you could do how do they happen? That's pretty much what it means.
Basically, yeah. So
But I don't think it's good instead of why do they.
I don't know. So why would do eclipses happen?
Because
Yeah. So the moon, Earth, and Sun are all orbiting, and eclipses happen when they cross paths. So they won't be close to each other. They'll still be the same distance from each other, but they'll pass each other and create a shadow, either on the sun or the moon. Yeah, the sun, the moon, and the earth aren't moving at any different speeds. It's just that they'll eventually pass so that they're in line with each other to create that.
wait, when will the next lunar eclipse?
Well, that's what we're gonna look up on the next page.
No, when will the next lunar eclipse?
That's what we're gonna look up on the next page. Yeah. So go ahead and finish typing this out.
Doesn't the sun just turn around in circles?
All right. I guess I can make that a little bit bigger, sorry. There we go. Then we have question number 2. We need to do the difference between a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. So let's start with a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is when what happens? So which is in front of which one, basically? So for a lunar eclipse.
The moon is in front of the Earth, and
Okay.
wait, the Earth is in front of the
Yes,
moon.
yeah, the Earth,
The sun is in front of the Earth.
when the Earth is in front of the moon and casts a shadow on the moon. Make this a little bit bigger. I kind of like to remember lunar eclipse because lunar means moon, like luna means moon in Spanish. So lunar is when the light is on the moon or the shadow.
I don't know. But I like how her name was.
Okay.
She stole all the things.
Okay, next one. A solar eclipse is when what happens? Good. When the moon is in front of the Earth and casts a shadow on the Earth.
Right on the moon. And then
Yeah. I know these two are kind of confusing. They can get mixed up quite a bit, so.
how many eclipses are there?
What do you mean?
Like, or are there just two, like a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse?
There's just a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse, but you can have a total lunar eclipse, a partial lunar eclipse, or an annular lunar eclipse.
Try to move it and then hit.
Miss Jones, can you give me a second?
Like to just stay here?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm not gonna move it yet. I'll give you guys a couple minutes. I'm gonna check attendance too.
Type today. Every time I'm drawing, I always like I can't type after. Like my brain has to switch so fast.
I didn't mean to click that.
Oh, that's okay. You can turn it off. Yeah, there you go. I didn't even notice. That's cool. All right, so I'll give you about a minute just to get it finished up. If you're done, why don't you try those true false ones at the bottom and then we'll review them. So try the true false at the bottom on your own, okay?
I'm done with that part. I forget to make a wish at 1 p.m. Like 11. You can do one as long as it has like 12, 12, 10, 10. But you can't. You can do it 5, 5, 5.
All right.
5, 4.
Let's go ahead and do these true or falses really quick. So, number one says a lunar eclipse is when the moon blocks the sun's light to the earth. That means that there would be a shadow on the earth. Is that true? Nope, this one is false.
So what's the next one?
A lunar eclipse is opposite, when the earth blocks the moon or the sun's light to the moon.
I'm gonna eat the lemon after I finish this at home.
Okay. Number two, a solar eclipse is when the earth blocks the sun's light to the moon.
False,
Solar eclipse. Hang on.
right? The solar eclipse.
We say false, so a solar eclipse is when.
Yeah, it's the opposite because it talks about how the earth is in the middle.
Good. Yep. That one should be when the moon blocks the light for the earth. It's false. Two's false.
I was in the filling out my water bottle for the last 3, so I don't know. But partial eclipse, annular eclipse, or total eclipse.
So it says for number three, a partial eclipse happens when the sun's light is completely blocked.
I said true.
True or false?
True. False.
This one is false. When you think of the word partial, what do you think?
Partial product.
That's a math term, yes. But what does partial mean?
It means not full but close.
Okay, like not fully blocked, right? So you can think of a partial eclipse as not fully blocked light. Okay? An annular eclipse happens when we see a thin ring of light around the moon. True or false?
True.
That one is true. Good.
Wait, so what does annular mean?
I don't know. I don't know if the word annular means anything specific. And then Finally, number 5, a total eclipse is when the moon or the earth blocks the sun completely.
True.
True.
I got
Yeah,
I was right was guessing.
Yeah, again, just think about the word total. Total eclipse means it covers the whole thing. Now, before we move on to slide number 2, I do want to make sure that I respect any traditions and stuff. If you're Native American and you follow the traditions with the eclipses, can you look at a picture of an eclipse?
Oh, no idea.
You guys don't know for sure? You cannot look at it. Okay. So then I don't want to Google solar or eclipses or anything like that because I don't want to bring up a picture on accident and show you guys. So think what we might do is skip that second part because it's just kind of like if you want to do it, you're more than welcome to. It's basically like what is a partial lunar eclipse? Find a picture of what it might look like, and then when was the last one. But I don't want you guys to look up pictures if it's not going to go well with your culture and all of that stuff and your traditions. So don't do it if it's going to do that. Make sense? If you don't know, hang on.
At this time, will you please excuse the spelling bee contested to the cafeteria? Thank you. Wait, is Elijah on there?
He's not online. He's going to do it from home though. Yeah.
Making sure.
Yeah.
Why? Because I wanted to be on the
So, if you would like to do this page and kind of look up when these eclipses happened and what they are, you totally can. But I'm not going to require you to do it, especially if you don't know the tradition for sure. Just don't do it. Choose not to. That's fine.
Wait, Sheila, aren't you in the top 10? Nope.
Wait, yeah.
Sheila's in the top 10. I just say no to everything.
Yeah, you were in the top 10. Go upstairs. I forgot.
I didn't.
Bring your laptop and a charger and headphones, please.
You are what it is.
All right. So, hang on one sec. Again, if you want to do this page, you're more than welcome to. If not, that's okay. You just need to make sure that you have this first page done. We did it together, so I really hope you have it done. I will leave it up for a few minutes. Huh? Say it again?
We don't have to do the second page.
No, because it can kind of go against some people's beliefs with eclipses and moons and things like that. So I don't want to have people looking up pictures of it where it goes against their beliefs. So we're just going to skip it.
You have to wait.
Okay.
Give it brief.
Yeah. So as long as you do that first page, you're good. All right.
Okay.
If you are done, you can get it turned in. We're really only doing that one.